For years, America's biggest automakers called the shots, locking us out with impossible prices and record-breaking profits as their trucks topped $60,000 and sales soared. But now, those same companies are the ones panicking. Overflowing lots, desperate dealers, and yes, 21 pickup trucks no one wants. Dealers are begging you to take them, flipping the power from them to us. How bad is it? Try a brand new 2025 Ford F-150 with 0% APR for 48 months and no payments for 90 days, just to get it off the lot. So, how did the golden goose become the problem child of the car world? The shocking collapse starts now. The American pickup truck was once the ultimate profit machine. For nearly half a century, the Ford F-Series ruled the sales charts, stretching its lead year after year, while the Chevrolet Silverado and Ram 1500 fought for second place. Executives in Detroit watched the numbers climb with every new model, until the average transaction price for a full-size pickup crossed $60,000 in 2023. By then, a loaded F-150 or Silverado cost as much as a luxury sedan, and buyers were signing up for $1,000 monthly payments stretched over 7 years. Ford, GM, and Ram built their fortunes on this boom. Corporate earnings calls turned into victory laps as trucks delivered margins no sedan could touch. In 2022, analysts estimated gross profit per pickup at $15,000 to $20,000, with high trims and luxury packages pushing that even higher. One Wall Street report called the F-150 the single most profitable consumer product in the world. The numbers were staggering. 780,000 F-Series trucks sold in 2022, each one a rolling cash register. Silverado and Sierra combined for over 700,000 more. Detroit's Big Three were raking in billions, and the message was clear. If you wanted a new truck, you'd pay whatever they wanted. The sales charts read like a dynasty. Ford's F-Series held the top spot for 47 straight years. GM's Silverado trailed close behind, with Ram chasing both. But all three brands boasted record profits. The industry shifted its entire focus to pickups, shutting down sedan lines and betting the farm on bigger, pricier, and more luxurious trucks. Every new model came loaded with tech, leather, and off-road packages, features that padded the sticker price and fattened corporate margins. But the hunger for profit had a cost. As prices soared, so did loan terms. Truck buyers were now financing $60,000 to $70,000 rigs for 84 months or more, just to get payments under control. Meanwhile, dealers and automakers bragged about unprecedented pricing power, with discounts all but disappearing from 2021 to 2023. Jessica Caldwell from Edmunds summed it up. Truck buyers increasingly demand all the bells and whistles, making $65,000 the new normal for a loaded F-150 or Silverado. For years, the story was simple. Automakers set the rules, customers lined up, and profits rolled in. The average American family was paying the equivalent of a full year's salary just to get behind the wheel of a new truck. Detroit's boardrooms toasted to another record quarter, convinced the good times would never end. But as the profits piled up, so did the arrogance. The industry's golden goose was getting fat, and nobody at the top seemed to notice the cracks forming beneath the surface. Dealers are begging you to take these trucks. No exaggeration, no fine print hiding the truth. For 2 decades, the big automakers called the shots. They squeezed every last dollar out of buyers, tacked on every package, and watched profits soar while customers stretched themselves thin just to keep up with the Joneses. But that era is over. The power has shifted, and the desperation now sits squarely on the dealer's side of the desk. Here's the proof. Right now, you can walk into a Ford showroom and drive away in a brand new 2025 F-150, America's best-selling truck for nearly half a century, with 0% APR for 48 months and no payments for 90 days. That's not some leftover base model either. Even the XL trim, the workhorse of the lineup, is included. Ford calls it the Ford for America program. But behind the flag-waving slogan is a cold reality. Inventory is piling up, and the only way out is to hand you the keys for less than they ever dreamed possible. The numbers don't lie. A 0% loan for 4 years means every payment goes straight to principal, not to the bank. No interest, no hidden fees, just pure leverage for the buyer. And with a 3-month breather before you owe a dime, it's a deal nobody saw coming at the peak of the truck boom. Tim Healy, a truck market analyst, put it bluntly. We haven't seen 0% on America's top trucks since pre-pandemic days. Inventories are way up, and Ford dealers can't move these as fast as they'd like. Think about how quickly the tables have turned. Just a year ago, buyers lined up and paid sticker, or more, for the privilege of owning a new F-150. Dealers wouldn't budge on price, and incentives were a relic of the past. Now, the same trucks sit unsold for months, and the incentives are back with a vengeance. The big car companies gambled on endless demand, but rising interest rates, higher insurance, and $70,000 window stickers finally broke the spell. The result? Rows of unsold pickups, floor plan costs eating away at dealer profits, and corporate executives scrambling to clear the lots by any means necessary. It's not just Ford, the entire industry is feeling the heat, but the F-150's 0% APR offer is the clearest sign yet that the game has changed. For buyers who felt priced out or ignored, this is the moment to take control. The deals are real, the desperation is real, and for once, the leverage is on your side. And if you're wondering how to avoid getting burned by a bad deal, don't forget to grab the free guide in the description, 17 car brands to avoid in 2025. The big companies played us for years, but now the trick's on them. The only question left is, who's ready to cash in while the window's still open? Inside Detroit's boardrooms, the mood was pure confidence. The pandemic years had delivered a sugar high of truck sales, and the people at the top believed the demand would never fade. As late as 2023, Ford and GM executives doubled down, approving production targets that outpaced even their own analysts' warnings. One leaked slide deck from a Ford forecast meeting spelled it out. Internal data scientists flagged the risk of a post-pandemic drop, but leadership waved them off, betting on optimistic retail projections and the memory of empty lots from the chip shortage. The thinking was simple. If you build it, Americans will buy it, no matter how high the price or how loaded the truck. That's how the industry landed on a mountain of unsold pickups. By the summer of 2025, Ford's F-Series inventory had ballooned to over 100 days' supply in major cities. Silverado and Ram numbers weren't far behind. Dealers from Atlanta to Denver watched as truck after truck rolled off the carrier, filling every inch of their lots. Some stores reported 3 XLs or XLTs for every custom-ordered truck, with no buyers in sight. A regional manager described the scene as a tidal wave of metal, more than we could ever hope to move before fall. Executives ignored the red flags. The retail team at Ford projected 820,000 F-Series sales for the 2024 to 2025 model year. But by July, the best-case scenario had dropped to just over 710,000, a miss of more than 100,000 units, confirmed in a memo that circulated among nervous franchisees. GM's own targets for Silverado and Sierra fell short by similar margins, with analyst estimates putting unsold inventory at 15% above what the market could absorb. Dealers pleaded for fewer high-trim allocations, but the factory kept shipping, desperate to keep plants running at full tilt and hit bonus numbers. The cost of that hubris lands squarely on the people who have to move the metal. By mid-2025, unsold pickups across the country topped 750,000 units, according to Cox Automotive. That's the largest retail inventory glut since the financial crisis. For every truck that sits, dealers pay steep floor plan interest, often $25 to $42 per day per vehicle. In Dallas, 3 F-150s sitting for 100 days each can rack up $12,000 in carrying costs before a single sale. One dealer compared it to burning cash in a bonfire, hoping someone shows up before it's all gone. The arrogance wasn't limited to Ford or GM. Stellantis, too, kept Ram production humming, banking on a steady stream of buyers that never materialized. Insiders say executives were laser-focused on quarterly bonuses, not the warning signs flashing from the field. "We begged for fewer loaded XLTs and more custom orders," said a Michigan dealer. Now Ford's fishing for buyers everywhere. This is what happens when the people at the top believe their own hype. For years, the rules were set in glass towers, and the data from the ground was brushed aside. Now, the consequences are parked in rows across America, each unsold truck a monument to corporate overreach and a bet gone bad. The next burden falls on the dealers, left holding the keys and the bill for a strategy that never listened to the numbers. The pressure isn't just abstract. Dealers are bleeding cash every single day these trucks sit unsold. Floor plan interest, the hidden tax of the car business, turns every extra day into a financial wound that won't heal. For a full-size pickup like a Ram 2500, the cost to hold just one truck can run $25 to $42 per day. Multiply that by 100 days, then by a dozen trucks, and you're staring at losses that can swallow a year's worth of profit before the first sale even closes. Tom G., a general manager in Texas, describes it like this: "Every day a truck sits, that's profit out the door. We're stacking rebates on rebates just to see them move." His store is sitting on Ram 2500s for 120 days or more, each one racking up over $4,000 in carrying costs before a single customer signs the paperwork. In Dallas, 3 unsold F-150s can burn through $12,000 in interest alone by the time summer ends. The longer they sit, the deeper the hole. It's a vicious cycle. Dealers can't refuse the factory shipments without risking future allocations, so the trucks keep coming. XLs, XLTs, Bighorns, Lariats, filling every corner of the lot. Insurance, lot damage, and depreciation pile on top of the daily financing charges. One Midwest dealer called the situation burning cash in a bonfire, hoping someone shows up before it's all gone. Some stores have started cold calling old customers, practically begging them to trade up or take a second truck, just to stop the financial bleeding. Others are slashing prices below invoice, throwing in free maintenance, or even offering to deliver trucks across state lines at no extra charge. A group controller for a multi-point dealer network summed it up: "We're offsetting new vehicle losses by marking up every 2-year-old Tacoma and doubling down on F&I sales." The pain isn't limited to the sales floor. Floor plan lenders are watching balances stretch longer and longer while cash flow dries up. Dealers who once celebrated bonuses for moving volume are now staring at negative margins, forced to borrow just to make the next interest payment. For high-trim trucks, the losses can hit $10,000 to $15,000 per unit by the time all the costs are tallied. Every unsold truck is a liability, not an asset. The people on the ground, the ones who have to make payroll, keep the lights on, and answer to the bank, are the ones paying for the mistakes made in Detroit's boardrooms. The result? Dealers are desperate, incentives are stacking higher than ever, and buyers who know how to play the game can finally turn the tables. If you want to avoid getting burned, don't forget to grab the free guide in the description: 17 car brands to avoid in 2025. The big companies squeezed every last dollar for years, but now they're the ones with their backs against the wall. Ford and GM are throwing open the vault. The deals on domestic trucks right now are unlike anything seen in over a decade because they have no choice. At Ford, the 2025 F-150 isn't just available with 0% APR and 3 months of payment relief. If you skip the special rate, you'll find 3.9% APR for 5 years, plus bonus cash that can stack up to $3,250 on an XLT or up to $1,250 on a Lariat. Even the leftover 2024 F-150s are getting the red carpet, up to $7,500 off in cash or 2.9% APR, whichever moves the metal fastest. One recent buyer summed it up. Discounts were so steep, it felt like I was stealing the truck. The desperation doesn't stop at the half-ton. Ford's midsize Ranger is now offered at 3.9% APR for 60 months, plus $1,000 cash on nearly every configuration. The Maverick, a truck that was once impossible to find for under MSRP, can now be leased nationally for approximately $456 a month with $2,000 down, a price point unheard of just last year. A customer in Ohio called it the cheapest new truck lease I've ever had. My dealer even offered delivery to my driveway just to close the deal. Heavy-duty shoppers aren't left out. The 2025 Ford Super Duty F-250, a benchmark for contractors and fleet buyers, is leasing at around $886 a month with $2,000 due at signing. Dealers are quick to point out that these rates are far below what anyone could have predicted when the order banks opened. Meanwhile, the F-150 Lightning, Ford's electric flagship, now comes with 0% APR for 72 months, and lease offers dipping below $630 per month in some regions. A TrueCar analyst remarked, "Ford is doing everything but putting cash in the glove box. They're desperate to move F-150 Lightnings, even if it means stacking every incentive in the book." General Motors is racing to keep up. The 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500, a direct rival to the F-150, is now being advertised at 2.9% APR for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. The heavy-duty Silverado 2500 HD joins the fire sale with 3.9% APR for 60 months. But the real headline is the Silverado EV 0% APR for 60 months, $7,500 federal tax credit at the point of sale, and a Costco bonus for eligible buyers. Mike Ramirez, a Houston customer, described his experience. "I saved over $17,000 versus MSRP. They even delivered it to my door just to close the month." GMC isn't far behind. The Sierra 1500 comes with 0% APR for 48 months, or 2.9% for 72 months. And some loyalty or select owner programs are slashing prices by 20% below MSRP. The GMC Canyon, once a hot commodity, is now leasing for about $498 a month, with $2,000 down. One dealer in Michigan said, "We're offering deals I never thought I'd see on a new Sierra. If you qualify for loyalty, it's almost like we're paying you to take it." Every one of these offers is a direct response to trucks piling up on lots and dealers bleeding cash. The factory rebates, stacked APR deals, and bonus cash are all designed to do one thing: get these trucks off the books before the next shipment arrives. For years, buyers were told to take it or leave it. Now, the big automakers are the ones doing the begging, and the deals keep getting better with every passing week. Ram's gamble on endless demand has backfired in spectacular fashion. The 2025 Ram 1500, once a darling of the worksite and the suburbs, now comes with 1.9% APR for 72 months on many trims, a rate that would have sounded like a typo just 2 years ago. Dealers from Cleveland to Phoenix are stacking rebates, offering $2,000 bonus cash on select Ram 2500s, and even advertising leases on the heavy-duty Ram 3500 starting around $737 a month with $2,000 due at signing. One customer in Houston summed it up. "I couldn't believe a truck this new had a 1.9% deal. Dealers said they still have 2024s stacked behind the fence." Toyota, the brand once famous for holding the line on incentives, is now in the thick of the race to the bottom. The 2025 Tundra is being financed at 1.99% APR up to 72 months, with some regions dipping as low as 1.75%. That's a direct response to Tundras and Tacomas sitting unsold for months in places like Dallas and Atlanta. Lease deals on the 2025 Tacoma are showing up at $349 to $369 a month for 36 months. Numbers that would have been laughed off the showroom floor back when Toyota trucks were flying out the door. A regional manager in Illinois admitted, "We authorized late-night bonus cash just to clear the backlog. It's all about moving units now." Nissan's Frontier, once a budget favorite, is now offered at 1.9% APR for 60 months, or leases around $399 a month in many major markets. The story is the same across the board. Too many trucks, not enough buyers, and incentives that keep getting sweeter. Jeep's Gladiator, which rode the wave of Wrangler mania, is now being leased for as little as $259 a month, with $2,500 down. Dealers in Florida and Texas are openly advertising these rates just to keep Gladiators from gathering dust next to unsold Rams. Even the so-called lifestyle trucks aren't immune. The 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz, billed as a crossover for people who want a bed, now leases for $410 to $457 a month, depending on trim and zip code. Lease cash is quietly padding the deals, and dealers are quick to point out that these rates are a far cry from the markups seen at launch. One New Jersey buyer put it simply, "I got $1,500 lease cash, plus a dealer coupon. They wanted it gone." The heavy hitters round out the list. The 2025 Ford Super Duty F-250, a benchmark for contractors, is leasing nationally at about $886 a month with $2,000 down. These numbers are being tracked by TrueCar and verified by local dealers. No smoke and mirrors, just a clear sign that even the titans of the truck world are feeling the pinch. Every one of these deals is a direct result of overproduction and stubbornly high inventory. The bonus cash, the sub 2% APRs, the aggressive leases, they're not gifts. They're a lifeline for dealers who can't afford to keep paying $25 to $42 a day in floor plan interest while trucks sit unsold. As one multi-point group controller put it, "We're offsetting new vehicle losses by marking up every 2-year-old Tacoma and doubling down on F&I sales." This is the buyer's market truck shoppers have waited for. For years, the big brands played hardball, betting you'd pay whatever they asked. Now, the only way out is to hand you the keys and hope you'll take the deal. Don't forget, if you want to avoid the worst of the bunch, grab the free guide in the description. 17 car brands to avoid in 2025. The old rules are gone, and the power is finally back where it belongs. Landing a deal in today's pickup market starts with one move. Plug your zip code into every manufacturer's offer page before you even step foot in a dealership. Truck incentives are hyper-local. That $7,500 cash on a Ford F-150 in Dallas might shrink to $4,000 in Denver, or vanish entirely in parts of California. The same Silverado EV that comes with a $7,500 federal tax credit and a 0% APR in Chicago might look completely different if you're shopping in Miami or Phoenix. Dealers know this, and they count on buyers missing the fine print. Stacking programs is the next level. If you're a Costco member, you can layer their bonus on top of GM's cash for the Silverado EV, sometimes worth another $1,000 to $2,000 off, depending on the region and timing. Loyalty, military, and conquest rebates can all pile on, but only if you ask and qualify. Some buyers have walked out with $10,000 more in discounts than the person who bought the same truck a week earlier, just by stacking every available incentive. Don't let a dealer rush you into a handshake on the first number they throw out. Always ask for an out-the-door quote, itemized, in writing, with every fee, tax, and rebate spelled out. Then pit 2 or 3 dealers against each other. Dealers are desperate, but they're still counting on most shoppers not double-checking the math. As one buyer in Houston put it, they looked stunned when I showed them the competitor's OTD quote. Suddenly, another $1,500 came off the price. Every dollar you squeeze out is a dollar they never expected to give up. In a market where the power has finally shifted, the smart play is to use every tool in the box. The deals are real, but they go to the buyers who do their homework. Fine print is where dealers claw back profit, even in a market this desperate. Lease deals that look unbeatable in big print can hide mileage limits, usually 10,000 to 12,000 miles per year. Go over, and you'll pay as much as 35 cents a mile. Drive-off costs, or DAS, aren't always spelled out in the headline number. Some advertised payments require $2,000 or more up front, with additional fees for acquisition, documentation, and registration stacked on top. Credit tiers matter just as much. That 0% APR or sub-$400 lease, it's reserved for buyers with top-tier credit, often a FICO score of 700 or higher. Dealers know most shoppers won't ask if they qualify until the paperwork hits the desk. Getting a real deal means demanding every detail in writing. Insist on an out-the-door quote that lists every fee, rebate, and tax. Compare at least 2 or 3 dealers, not just the one with the loudest ad. Some buyers have watched the price drop by another $1,500 the moment they showed a competitor's quote. And always double-check the expiration date. Most of these incentives vanish by the end of the month, or shift with the next regional bulletin. If you want to sidestep the worst traps, grab the free guide in the description. 17 car brands to avoid in 2025. The automakers wrote the rules for years, but now the fine print is their last line of defense. Read it, use it, and make this market work for you. Just 2 years ago, the average new pickup truck in America sold for over $60,000, and dealers rarely offered more than a token incentive. Today, the evidence is impossible to ignore. 21 truck models now come with deals like 0% APR, 4-figure bonus cash, and lease rates as low as $259 a month. Documents show Ford, GM, Ram, Toyota, and Nissan all slashing rates and stacking cash, a move triggered by over 100 days' supply sitting unsold on dealer lots nationwide. As industry analysts confirm, executives bet on endless demand and lost. Yet, the long-term impact on prices and future incentives remains uncertain, with manufacturers withholding their next production targets and refusing to release full inventory forecasts. What is clear is that for the first time in a decade, buyers hold the power. These deals are real, but may not last. For a full list of car brands to avoid in 2025, check the free guide linked below. The era of unchecked pickup profits is over, at least for now.